Back to the night. The last video I was stripping all the components out of it. For this update in this video, we have all the components removed from the pieces. So we've got it cleaned up. I'm probably going to strip this and redo it. But we've got tube sockets removed and the power plugs that were in here. And the tube sockets and the RCA connectors and everything that was in this. And what will probably be happening when I set this amp up is this little jig that I made here for the speaker output jack. Will sit right down about right there in between the two power tubes, and we'll run through the hole that the previous owner drilled out and put a speaker jack in. So that's not so hard to get to. But anyways,
here's a couple pictures of the paint stripped off the chassis. We used Citri-Strip stripping gel this time, and it worked quite well. We marked the spots where the extra potentiometers and whatnot were going. Take note of the filled hole. We used a washer and JB Weld to fill a hole that's not going to be used. And here's how the new holes came out. Here, the tab that was used to hold the original indicator lamp was bent over flush, and the cracks filled with JB Weld. Here's a quick look at the back. Time for a little red Bondo glaze to smooth things out a little more. Here's how that turned out after a bit of sanding. And after some primer, this is what we have. It was decided to add 2 mini toggle switch holes and a hole for an indicator lamp. One last bit of red Bondo glaze. So, with a few hand tools, a power drill and some sheet metal, it was time to make some plates, like these, to cover up unused holes in the chassis. We taped the plates on, marked the holes with a magic marker, and drilled them out. And here's what it looks like bolted in place. This plate will also hold the speaker impedance selector switch. And here is how it looks installed. Last but not least, a plate to cover up the unused holes where the two-prong power receptacles were.
all right, so I got everything painted and it's sat for a bit. Now it should be cured up well enough to put back together and start working on it. And the color that I used is called Almond. It doesn't look much different than the primer color that I used on it, but it's different if you were to see them side by side. These are the plates that are made to cover up the holes and whatnot. And this is a plate that was a little jig that was made up to hold the speaker output jack. And let's see, maybe I better move some of this out of the way here. This would be the centerpiece of the chassis that holds the preamp tubes and some switches and whatnot. Not too bad. And this would be the back section of the chassis that holds the transformers and the octal tubes. And here's a look at the main section of the chassis. I'm hoping to use decals to label things here in the front, which will mean I have to put the decals on, then let it set and dry, and then clear coat it and let it set and dry some more. But yeah, be worth it if it comes out all nifty like. Let's look at the back real quick. And also did paint up the cover for the chassis. And this color is called Pistachio, which I think actually the pistachio and the almond work well together. Kind of a vintage vibe going on there, I think. Now, I could have swore I took some pictures when I was painting this, perhaps some video. But if I did, I can't find it. If I find them, I'll add them. If not, I guess the aliens abducted them or something. Yeah. Anyways. So I've got things kind of together here just to added some components just to get an idea of what's going on, I guess. This would be the power transformer. This would be the output transformer. This would be the speaker output jack. And we've got the 3 octal tube sockets here and 3 preamp tube sockets here. And these 2 pots here are for the hum balance controls. And this 2-way rotary switch is the speaker impedance selector switch. And this pot here is for the dampening circuit. And up front, we have a cool old school on-off switch, fuse, and indicator lamp, which is a 120 volt indicator lamp. And this will hold the large cap can, whatever you want to call it. It's going to hold the multi-value capacitor, which is going to be 40 microfarad, 20 microfarad, 20 microfarad, and 10 microfarad. And here we've got a couple mini toggle switches and a couple input jacks. And they are for harmonica microphone input jack, high Z mic jack, with a 3-way toggle switch for 3 different impedances for your high Z mic. And this will be a guitar input, which will just be high and low. And I may be adding another 2-way switch right here so that you can select a dedicated high Z mic or dedicated guitar, either or, but not both. And at the moment, planning on having a volume, bass, middle, treble tone stack, and a master volume. And let's see, get a quick look at the back here. And there's those preamp tube sockets and the hum balance controls and the impedance selector switch and the potentiometer for the dampening circuit. And that's about where we're at for the moment. And it's probably where I'm going to do up another video while I decide for sure just what I'm going to do circuit-wise.
Sit, Bugzilla, sit.